for us to stop talking back. Oh, sorry. I guess we're live. Everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Welcome to another Hangout With. And tonight we have Tiffany from Eat Sleep Amazon. And we're really looking forward to listening to her talk about her business, and very appropriate for everything that's going on. A lot of us are kind of like stuck in lockdown, that she has her own online business, obviously, through Amazon. So we're going to pick her brain about that tonight. Hopefully it can help out a lot of people if they're ever thinking about doing something like this, to jump on board and start their own business as well. So, but first, let's get to know about Tiffany. If you guys have any questions about her, ask the questions. That would be fantastic. All right. So first of all, how long have you had your business, and why? The big why. Why did you start becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I just want to say hello, everybody. Hello, Rick. Thanks so much for having me.
Anytime.
Everybody in the chat. Yeah, so my name is Tiffany. I go by Eat Sleep Amazon, and I started a Amazon e-commerce business last February, so February 2019. And yeah. And
good.
I started this business because I already had like a job that I was working from home, but I wanted to supplement my income. And, who doesn't want to do that? And I have some health challenges that kind of were making it a little difficult for me to do something outside of the home to supplement my income. So I ended up meeting somebody that sells on Amazon, and we met just, by chance, totally not expecting to discover, that they sold on Amazon, and they mentioned that that would be a great way for me to start an at-home business. And I just took it from there. I started learning as much as I could online, and reading and connecting with other people that were already Amazon sellers. And it's just, history from there. So
awesome. So
here I am.
Good for you. How many hours are you dedicating to Eat Sleep Amazon over the course of a week?
Yeah, so it's funny because people were like, how did you come up with that name? And I was like, because it was pretty easy. Last year when I started my business, I honestly I didn't have a healthy balance, and I was working nonstop. I would get up at 4 a.m. and start working my regular job. And then I would work, until maybe 9 or 10 p.m. at night.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Long hours. Are you kidding?
Well, but I was working my regular job during the day, and kind of I would take breaks from that and then work on Amazon. So it wasn't 100% Amazon all the time. And then I started simultaneously, I started YouTube, Instagram, and a Facebook group. So I was juggling all these things.
Crazy. But you have to, early stages of being an entrepreneur, you have to, right?
I would definitely say the way I did it, looking back, I'm not regretful that I did all that at one time.
Right.
Yeah, my life is not as hectic now, because it's it's kind of like when you get started, you're climbing a mountain, and
yep.
I'm not at the peak, but I am at a more calmer point,
Yep.
So I definitely agree with you. When you get started on something, I definitely say give it your all, because that momentum just builds on itself. And, I got to meet a lot of really cool people such as yourself, and also so many people on YouTube, and just outside of Amazon, the e-commerce and then the entrepreneurial world. So I definitely, it's been a quite a journey and a whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great community. YouTube is amazing, and it's go. So it sounds like as if you're, as an entrepreneur, it sounds like as if you're kind of already in cruise control, cruise mode, I call it. It's launch, go, and then you get to that point where it's okay.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, and so with the Amazon business, for anybody that's watching what I do, because there's a lot of different business models for Amazon. I do FBA, which means I send my items into the warehouse, and then Amazon will ship them to the customer. And I do mostly wholesale and retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. So it was kind of like a phenomenal thing to me to learn that you can go into a local retail stores and buy items and then turn around and send those into Amazon to sell them for profit. So, but the thing is, like, once you have these products that you're selling, a lot of them, like for me, I focus on replenishable items. So the same items I can buy over and over. So
Right.
then, yeah, like you said, it gives you more of that cruise control because all you're really doing is like reordering. You're not having to go hunt new items as much, if that makes sense. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Once you start figuring things out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cruise.
Yeah, and you get your feet wet, you get a system going, and yeah, definitely once you get, you get, yeah.
So how did you learn to do this? Because did you buy a course? Did you figure it all out by yourself?
I get that question. Yeah.
How did you figure out how to do this?
I get that question a lot. And I think that the way I did it maybe not be the best way for everybody. I mean, I do some coaching right now, and I have taken some courses, but when I did get started, I did not do any of that. And I was homeschooled for a good part of my education growing up. So I'm really resourceful and just used to kind of like going along and figuring things out on my own. So, but that's probably not the best thing for everybody because Amazon has a lot of rules and it can be pretty sticky. But yeah, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. Like I consume so much content, and Amazon has like these, it's called terms of service. So I would just go through and like read what those were. Like these are the kind of items you can send in. This is how you prep them. So yeah, I just did that. And then I just did a lot of networking with like people that I met on Instagram and Facebook and Facebook groups. And just, I asked a lot of questions, and if I would ask a question and somebody would not answer it, like I wouldn't get defeated. I would just honestly just go ask someone else or go ask, like another group or something.
Good for you. So you put it all together. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The first question tonight comes from All Good. Here you go.
Yeah.
How do you deal with returns and unhappy customers?
Yeah, that's a great question, All Good. Thanks so much for joining us. So on Amazon, with any kind of reselling business, you are going to get returns. My return rate is pretty good. I think it's probably like maybe 4% of the number of orders I have per month, which
great.
is yeah. So I really strive to like. So one thing that I do is because I was prepping a lot of my own products last year, and so I make sure I really take care in that the item will look good when the customer receives it. And I have, you are going to get those unhappy customers. I've had new items that I shipped and then the customer was like, oh no, it's used, or, it's empty or whatever. But you just have to be as nice and professional as you can. With Amazon, especially, the customer is number one. And I really believe that, like, even if I was running my own website, the customer would be number one. And so you want to take care of them. And it's really not been that bad of an experience. And speaking to other seasoned Amazon sellers, like, that is something that you're going to have to deal with, but it's just part of the business. And with every business that you do, like, there's going to be, pros and cons. So you just learn to handle those things as best you can. It doesn't eat into your overall pie of profit as much as, you would think it would. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. You just got to roll the punches sometimes, right? You always happy,
Yeah. And I think also like what you sell makes a big difference. So like I don't sell clothes or shoes, which those categories you can get really good profit margins, but your returns can be kind of high. I stick to more like consumable products. I sell a lot of grocery. I sell a lot of, just household items. So with those, I find that the returns are a lot lower just because for the most part, people are buying them and they want to use them. So
smart. That's really smart. So are you getting all your wholesale products from, overseas? Or are you keeping them within the US?
No, I don't do anything from out of the US. Everything that I buy is made, manufactured, and I purchase it here from the States.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
You have,
Yeah.
I've heard stories of people having trouble finding their supplies in the US. Are you able to fill all your SKUs, everything, products in a timely manner, every way that the logistics is no problem, is running smooth for you?
Yeah, like
Good.
when you start out, like it's more of a, like I said, that upward, build. But once you start finding certain things and you get like a system going, and there's so many distributors, manufacturers, brands here in the United States, that really, I think it would really just blow people's minds to know like how much opportunity there is out there. So, and especially now, like right now, because before, so many brands would be maybe opposed to having their products on Amazon. Now that so many brick and mortar stores are closed or the hours are reduced, like now I think is the opportunity, because people are seeing that, these companies are seeing like, hey, e-commerce really is the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they're almost encouraging it, right? It's just another outlet of distribution. That's great. That's
Yeah.
really
Absolutely.
So, all right. Wyatt just said here that he is subscribed to your channel. He was going to check it out.
Thank
Wyatt,
you.
that's the idea. In fact, check out everybody's channels here, guys.
Thank you.
Subscribe. We're a community, so everybody subscribe. And Q has got a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. How was the learning curve? Did you get it down right away? That's a great question. The learning curve, honestly, was pretty steep. There are a lot of different business models. So like the person that I met originally that told me about Amazon, he wanted to do private label, or he wanted to venture into that, and kind of wanted me to pair up with him. But private label is, it requires more capital and more like time invested to start it up. And I didn't want to do that. So I would say that, for me, this whole Amazon thing really kind of came natural, which it's not for everybody, but don't beat yourself up if it doesn't. Just stay persistent. And there's a lot of people out there, like myself included, that we love talking about Amazon. We're not trying to sell you anything. We genuinely want to help. And so I would say if you want to learn, like pair up with people like that, because there's just a wealth of knowledge out there.
Yeah. Definitely. So have you found that on YouTube is where you gained your biggest like group of support, your community, or was it on Instagram, or was it Facebook? Well, I'm going to post your Facebook group here as well right away. So everybody go and check out Tiffany's Facebook group. There it is.
I would say like it's probably all of those platforms. Like I started YouTube initially as just a viewer, like I consumed a ton of content, but then I met other people that were starting on Amazon that encouraged me to like start my channel. Like one of them is my really good friends now. They just can encourage me to like start my channel. And with this type of business, it's called reselling, and it can get kind of lonely because you're selling products online. And so it's not like you have coworkers or, and people in your town may not even be doing this. So you meet your coworkers online. Like that's how. So I initially just joined YouTube to have that sense of like, I'm not alone in this and I have a community. And then it just, has really blossomed into, I do have this community, but I also have like people that like have helped me that I can also help in return,
So have you ever considered taking on a business partner in this venture?
I have, and I have, and I think that that's a very smart move, especially because this business can be lonely, and a very common way to expand it is to like get a warehouse, and and I personally would not want to be running a warehouse on my own. Like I would, want somebody else doing that. So that's a great question, actually. I don't, if anybody, Rick, are you saying you want to be my business partner?
I've got a lot of projects on the go right now. Maybe later on, but not right now. I got so many things happening.
It's a great, it is a great thing though. Like I know a lot of people that do Amazon, and they do it as like, teams of 2 or, like groups of 3 or something. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to work well together, right? I mean, it could definitely make sense. But have
Yeah.
you ever been approached by anybody, or have you? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for my Amazon business per se, but like the coaching aspect of it. I've
Right.
had a few people say like, "Hey, will you team up with me?" It's
God,
just a matter of like finding the right fit and then
yeah.
also like having the time for that.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
so I love helping people with Amazon. But my biggest thing that I want to focus on right now is just building the number of SKUs in my store um, and kind of just venturing. Like initially, I started with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, but I want to get more, and I do some wholesale, but I want to kind of expand further into that. Um,
Got it.
yeah.
Good. How about a course? Have you ever
Of
considered
course.
writing an ebook, or posting a course for sale?
Yeah. So if like I did actually recently make an ebook. It's pay what you can.
Right.
Because right now the economy, a lot of people are struggling. So I just wanted to offer it, pay what you can. So yes, definitely to the digital products for sure. A course, I'm not so sure about. That's a great question. So there are a lot of courses out there, and I just always want to be very careful that I'm giving the most accurate, up to date information.
Yeah.
And a course can be very time consuming because Amazon updates and changes very quickly. And for you to create something and then next week you have to go in and update it. So it may be in the future, but for now I'm okay.
You're good. Good to hear. Good to
Yeah.
hear. What motivates you?
Mm,
Okay,
I really
water
have
break.
water break, water break. I have a passion for whatever I do. Like in life, I have to be passionate about it. And so what motivates me is, just building my business, and I truly enjoy it. And just also connecting with other people. Like for me, I like to say I'm like an extroverted introvert. Like sometimes I like the quiet time, but I love connecting with people. I love learning, and I love knowing that I can help somebody.
Nice.
So all of those things motivate me. Like I was pretty ill the first part of this year,
Oh,
and I'm getting better and better. But one of my motivations was like, I want to be able to help people. So, yeah, that's a big motivation. And with Amazon, it's like, you would think, well, you're selling products, but you're like, especially in a time like right now, people can't get to the store, or it's, a little riskier to go to the store. So a lot of people are ordering online. And so
right.
it's like for you to have those products where they can hit the buy now, it ships to their house. They can stay home safe with their family. Like that's a huge service that, I'm providing as an Amazon seller.
Definitely. Definitely. Everybody, make sure again subscribe to Tiffany's channels.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
Thank you
And on
guys.
Instagram. I mean, honestly, we were talking backstage just now, and this is the perfect time. If you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking about taking on a new venture, or you
Yeah.
want to, take on the venture of being an entrepreneur, now's
Yeah.
the time, right? So, reach out to Tiffany. Maybe she can give you some advice. Maybe she can help you out, get the things started, and be an online seller, right? So,
Yeah,
definitely,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
stay connected. Sorry.
Yeah. Right now is honestly a great time. Like a lot of people are at home. Maybe they're laid off. Maybe,
Yeah.
they're still working, but they're working from home and they're realizing like, hey, I have extra time because I'm not in an office all day. Like, I think right now is a great time. Like if you are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, starting something, a lot of people start as a side hustle, which is completely fine. Yeah, I say now is a great opportunity. Like
Yeah, why not?
don't let this, this monumental time in history where the world is kind of at a standstill, like pass you by.
Oh,
So
tons of opportunities out there, right? Exactly. Focus on the positive, not the negative right now. There's so many
absolutely.
opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you ever consider hosting a class? on Zoom.
class.
Anybody that's interested, that's watching right now, get in contact with you.
Yeah, I mean,
And host a class. Why not?
yeah, if people, I've kind of learned to create like digital content or whatever I've done on the basis of like what people need or ask me for. So yeah, if somebody were to, I got like a good, amount of people that said, hey, I want you to teach a class, like definitely I'd be open to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should do it. You love, and you got great personality. You're very, obviously you enjoy helping out people and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
think your first student will be Q right here. He's got your second
Okay.
part of your business automated.
So I would say yes, not as automated as I want it to be, but with the FBA part, which I have to say, like right now, Amazon has more restrictions on what you can send into their warehouse because they're trying to prioritize, medical supplies and groceries and things that a lot of people just desperately need right now.
So
But
how do you know what you're allowed to send to them? Do they have a long list
yeah.
to go through everything, or how's it work?
They have categories. So they have like 5 categories. Beauty is one, health and household, grocery, baby products, I think pet products. I think those are the 5.
Okay.
They did just open it up today, actually, where you can send in more stuff. Because they did hire, like a couple weeks ago, Amazon hired like 100,000 workers.
Yeah.
So at a time where like a lot of people are laying off, Amazon is hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the automated part, definitely the FBA is great because you send it to the warehouse, you have a large box of mixed items and you send it to the warehouse. And then once you ship it off, like pretty much, for the most part, you just wait until the customer buys it. So that is a great automated part. Another part that you can expand into that I'm looking into is like getting a VA and kind of running a lot of my, like account, just different day-to-day things that would need in the account.
I can help you on that if you want.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, VAs, I hear a ton of talk about VAs and how they will help you scale this business.
They're awesome.
So yeah. And what's phenomenal is one of my really good friends, like he has a VA that he's had for I think 2 or 3 years now. And his VA, because he employs his VA. His VA will send him pictures and say like, look, my wife and I just bought this house. We just got this car. Like, thank you for giving me a job. And, like that's a huge thing, So yeah.
Same thing happened. Yeah. One of my graphic artist guys, he bought this little Suzuki and took a picture of it beside him. He's like, thank you. Thanks for helping.
So awesome. Yeah.
Called it.
That's amazing.
It's a great feeling,
Mm-hmm.
So, help out people around the world, and they're amazing people too, right? It's it's off the charts. It's so fun working with VAs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And back to that, just like what I said earlier, like for me, I really love helping people. So it's like the few people that I have coached, especially right now, they're at home with their families, they're trying to sell things online. So to be able to help people be able to do that and make like an income, it's like extremely rewarding. Yeah.
Definitely. I think you should definitely start a class on Zoom. And Q's going to be your first student, like I said.
Okay. All right.
So let's see what Dave has to say. Let's see. Through categories. There you go.
Yeah. So the restricted categories, that's a big thing on Amazon when you're brand new. Like you can't right out of the gate sell certain things. And there's a lot of what is known as like black hat methods. So I definitely do not recommend using those. They're called like ungating services. Just be very careful because you can put your account at risk. So for me personally, what I did is I ordered from a distributor. I got, usually you have to have a minimum of 10 and then you get the documentations you need, you submit to Amazon and you're good to go. So to answer your question, Hidden Freedom, what's up? That's how I did it. And then I also have to say the latter part of his question, after a certain number of sales, you do get more access to restricted categories. So like I started last February, and then by like, I want to say October, I was going in and on the big categories and some of the big brands, like even Sony and stuff like that, I was getting what's called like auto approved. So
Nice.
you don't, yeah, it's nice because you don't have to buy from a distributor or the manufacturer. Like you just hit, check approval and it says congratulations. So that's a
awesome.
really cool.
That is awesome. Okay, so getting back to your class on Zoom, Q wants you to sign him up. Done.
Okay.
And
all right, Q. Thank you. Thank you.
200 gallons of hand sanitizer.
Wow, my goodness.
On what? On Amazon?
Yeah. Where did you sell that? That's
yeah, let us know.
That's kind of interesting.
Good for you, man. Holy cheese, as he says, crazy. And Dave says, "Holy cow!" Holy
yeah,
cow.
I want to know where he sold the hand sanitizer. That's
Q has to jump in 200 gallons. Holy mackerel.
yeah, that's quite a lot.
Wow. Okay, hang on. Hold on, Ryan. Like, what did you do? I want to hear this. Just in the Palm Beach County, where you drove around in the Tesla? Holy mackerel. That's impressive. Good for you, buddy. That's fantastic.
That's phenomenal. Seriously.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So, Tiffany, what do you enjoy the most about being an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. I guess I really like that when you're an entrepreneur, that like one thing I've noticed is that you have to learn to figure a lot of things out for yourself, and you have to think outside of the box, as they say.
Yeah.
And you have a different way of thinking. Like you're more solution oriented versus like, okay, this is just how things are. Like you don't accept things. Like you do things to make change. Mm-hmm. And I really like that because it's very empowering, and it makes you realize like, okay, the world is not stagnant. Like the way things are is not the way they have to be. Like you can change them. And that really opens up your eyes to so many things. So
Definitely does. Okay, so you had your YouTube community and your Instagram community, but did you have any specific mentors?
I have had specific people that I turn to for guidance and help, and also just moral support. Like one of my really good friends is his name is Jane Rise and Grind Picker. He has a pretty large YouTube channel because this business can get kind of lonely, and also there can be like there's different kind of, I guess what you would say, like clicks, if you call it. So because with Amazon, there is a lot of content out there that's paid content, but like people are not actually selling. They're just selling courses or whatever. And so for me, like that's been a big hesitation for me to put out paid anything, because my number one thing is to sell, and I don't want to mislead people on how lucrative or non-lucrative this business can be. I mean, this business is it can be difficult. It requires capital. It requires grit. Like it's not get rich quick or overnight or passive. It can be eventually, but not when you're getting started, and you've got to really put the dedication in there. So, one of my really good friends, like, he's helped me to see that. And also just, like I said, he's somebody that I can team up with and know that he has good intentions for the people that he's helping, and I have good intentions with people I'm helping. So, yeah.
That's good. Okay, so Q's got a quick question for you. Is it difficult filing your taxes as an entrepreneur?
Well,
or your accountant.
Yeah, I mean, I have a CPA, and she basically tells me what to send her, and I do that. I definitely would recommend. So with Amazon, there is a software that I use that keeps track of my sales, my profit, my loss, my cost of goods, all of that. I definitely would say invest in something like that, because you want to make sure that you're profitable, and you also want something that you can send to an accountant or a CPA, and they can kind of do all of that for you. I would not recommend based upon conversations I've had with entrepreneurs and my own CPA to do that on your own, because you're going to be missing out on a lot of profitable like deductions, and you also don't want to mess it up. I mean, you don't want to get like on TurboTax or somewhere a big bill and then you're like, oh no, and then you could have had all these deductions. In the past, for the most part, I've done a lot of my taxes on my own, but when it comes to being an entrepreneur, I really recommend getting a CPA. So
yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, quickly on that, I totally agree with Tiffany. Get the advice of an accountant, CPA, and it depends upon how you're structured as well. Okay, I just talked a lot. If you're a corporation, LLC, etc., there's a lot of tax benefits of being one. So, and is it difficult? Not really. Your CPA will tell you exactly what to do, right? So,
yeah,
it's a bit more work. You've created a separate entity, so it's slightly different than your personal, obviously. But it's not that difficult. Once you get the system set up, it's actually quite easy. The first year might be a little bit of a shocker, but after that, it's quite easy. So, let's see. Have any other questions? Travis joined us. Nice to see you, Travis. Thanks for joining us. Ryan's opened up some numbers here for us.
$20 a gallon.
Amazon Ryan here. This is fantastic.
That's so cool.
Great. Jeez, look out. Maybe I better not post anything else about what he's doing and what he's making here in case the IRS is watching. Who knows?
That's hysterical.
Tiffany, tell us something that you're extremely proud of. What are you proud of?
I am very proud of myself for overcoming. Like, I've had a lot of challenges in my life. Like, my mom was really sick when I was growing up. I have 2 younger siblings. I had to, by proxy, just kind of help raise them.
Yeah.
And I've had my own health issues. So I'm very proud of myself for just persevering, because I could have given up, or I could have just used the things that I've encountered to complain. But for me, I like to look at everything. Like, Oprah is one of my favorite people. And so she has this thing where she says, don't ask why something's happening to you. Ask what it's trying to teach you. And so I try to look at, I'm not always like this. Like, I can have my down days, but I try to look at things in life, as like, what can I learn from this? And what is this trying to teach me? Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you.
So tell me do you read a lot of books?
I like audiobooks more these days, but I do love, in general, reading. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I like reading a lot of like blogs or like articles, Yeah.
Okay. Book-wise, name me 3 books that have like influenced you as an entrepreneur, helped you, directed you on the right track for yourself.
Yeah.
And why?
So one of them is called now I'm on the spot, so I'm like, what? So one of them is called The Last Lecture. It's by he was a professor. He passed away. His name is Randy Posh, and he was a Carnegie Mellon professor. And basically, he had terminal pancreatic cancer, and he wrote this book. He gave this lecture, I think, that turned into a book. And I really like it because it's a small, short read, but it helps me keep my priorities in order. So if I'm too caught up in what I'm doing, or, I think to myself, like, I'm not making as much money as I want, or I'm not where I want to be, I like to read that and reread it, because it helps keep me like, kind of on track as far as priorities.
Good.
Yeah, and another one that I like is called When to Quit. It is actually, I always forget his name, but he's very, very, he's a very popular, author.
Okay.
It's called The Dip. Basically, it's about knowing when to quit. It's by Seth Godin. So I like that book because just in general, like, there's so much stigma around quitting something. And my mom gave me that book, and I love it because it helps you to know, like, it's okay to fail at something, and it's also okay to quit something, because if you're not enjoying it and maybe it's just not the right fit for you, like, you don't need to feel like an epic failure in life. to stop doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
And I'm really big into self-development. So another really great book that I love is by Gabby Bernstein, and it's The Universe Has Your Back. And I love that because going back to what I said, looking at everything as like, what is this trying to teach me? Like with my business, like I always just try to say, okay, like, everything is going to work out in my favor. No matter what obstacle I overcome. And I also just apply that, like, a lot of things flow from like personal to business. And so to have that mindset of like, I'm empowered and be more in touch with like my spiritual side, like that really helps me a lot in business.
Good for
So
you.
thank you.
Good for you. What's your definition of being successful?
So I'm very into Gary Vee. I believe that success is happiness. And if you live in a hut in the forest and you are off the grid and you're incredibly happy, then you're winning at life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for me, I'm very simplistic. I'm a minimalist and I just want to be happy. I want to have my health. I want to have my family. I want to have my dog. And I just want to be able to empower other people and help other people. So for me, that is the definition of my personal success. Yeah.
You're already there.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you, Rick.
Sherry's got a question for you. What are your products that you sell on Amazon? Great question, Sherry.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you sell on Amazon, a lot of times you can't be specific what you're selling because you don't want the competition. But some of the big categories that I sell in, I do a lot of grocery. I do a lot of health and household, like I said earlier, like consumable products, because I love those categories because people are buying them to use them. Like usually, women are ordering makeup when they're almost out, or, men are ordering like shaving cream when, hey, you're almost down to the end of, your bottles. So those I don't get a lot of returns on. And personally, like I used to work in cosmetics. So I love those types of products. Yeah. And I would say sell what you know more about and what you kind of have like a little bit more of like a passion for, at least when you start, because I feel like that's really going to push you forward. Yeah.
Good answer. Great answer.
Thank you.
Do you plan ever on retiring?
Retiring. I don't know what that word means. Like, so I was reading today about, have you heard this word? I'm sure it's ikigai, like the Japanese word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, you're in your flow, you're doing what you love. And I've never personally understood the idea of retiring because I like to always kind of be like doing something.
Right.
So I don't know about retiring, but for me, like I want to be able to do what I love and do it on a regular basis and know that I'm helping others, which is one of the biggest things that I love. So, I mean, if I ever want to like be retired, like on a beach, sitting on the beach all day, no, no.
Fun for a while, but not for long.
Yeah.
Right. So, wow. Okay. So describe yourself 5 years from now.
Oh, okay. Well, like 5 years from now, like I really hope that my health is better. I would love to have my business. I have a certain like goal, in mind, profit wise per month that I want to be at. So I definitely want to be there. I would like to, have more things personal in my life, like be married and start a family, things like that. And then I would love to have more people that I'm working with outside of Amazon because, like I said, Amazon's a great platform to sell on, but there's so many more opportunities for e-commerce. And there's so many more things that you can do entrepreneur wise. And I was new to all of this. So I'm kind of learning, like the great world of entrepreneurship. So I have a few things that I want to do. I'm not sure exactly I don't have specifics, but in my mind, 5 years from now, like I will be closer to doing those things. Yeah.
Good for you. Good. So
Thank
guys, if
you.
anybody has any questions for Tiffany, please post them there. I mean, it'd be great to hear from you guys as to, asking her questions about her business. Online selling's got to be huge for the next little while with everything that's going on. We will not say the C word on this show.
Oh my gosh. Yes, so they're talking about the hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah. System of the year, the ice guys. No. Dave says the sanitizer guys. I love it.
That's great.
Yeah, right. You need a new logo. I'm just the guy for you.
I see a question. Somebody says FedEx or USPS. I guess I'm asking. I don't know if that's for me or.
Like, oh no, he's probably, I don't know. System of the year. I'm probably sure that's maybe for Ryan and whatnot. So it's hard to tell. Like, conversation going on over there, and we're having a conversation. You know, where it's being connected to. So, okay, back to you then. Again, if anybody's got any questions, shoot them out. Tiffany, how do you plan on growing your business?
That's a great question. So I've tried to develop more of a plan, and that's what I'm doing right now, like getting a plan in place. So VAs I know are great. I know that like I'm gearing towards more and more like utilizing a prep center. So I don't prep my products myself, and even just having a what they call like a 3PL, like even when you're merchant fulfilling items, you're shipping direct to the customer, like having a facility do that for you. I would love to get my business to where it is predominantly automated completely, but very much more hands off. Like my hands are not so much on the products.
Yeah.
Work
on your business, not in your business. That's so
important. Thank you. And I keep hearing that. And as somebody that started last year and I was brand new, like that's definitely, I was working on it and in it and all, it was both of those. So, but I keep hearing this, this phrase. So I'm trying more and more to get in that groove.
We'll talk offline about that, but I can definitely, especially with the virtual assistants for you.
Okay.
I mean, definitely one of the first things I do is like I find the fastest way that I can get away from my business.
That would be great to pick your brain.
It's awesome. It's huge. So how did you feel when you made your first sale on Amazon?
I was so excited. So, I mean, you have the app on your phone and you're just constantly like refreshing it. Yeah. And so, I was so excited, like, and it gets addicting after a while because,
for sure.
You just like, you realize like, oh my gosh, like, like when I started with retail arbitrage. And so it was like, oh my gosh, something that I bought inside of a store, I sent in and now somebody across the world or across the US, like just bought it. So it gets very addicting really fast to like see those sales. And then, like even right now, like merchant fulfilling is huge. And I wasn't doing much of that because just logistical reasons, it's a lot to ship out the product direct to customer. But I turned that on today and it's like I started getting these merchant fulfilling sales and then it gets like so addictive and you're like, okay, let's keep the ball rolling. So, yeah.
It's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. Can you sell hand sanitizer on Amazon right now?
That is a great question. You actually can, but you can only sell it to businesses or like medical companies or like hospitals, things like that.
Really?
Yeah. So they had blocked any sale of like, cleaning products, hand sanitizer, face masks. They opened it up again last week, but they strictly say you can only sell to business customers or hospitals, things like that. And then you have to be really careful what you're charging for it because a lot of people got suspended for price gouging.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, a lot of people right now are suspended on Amazon for price gouging. I don't know if anybody saw the New York Times article. A guy that had, I guess, went around, he lives in Tennessee, and he went around right when this was coming out that people were going to need to get these supplies. He went around and bought all of this. And they took a picture, like his garage was full of hand sanitizer and like
Toilet paper?
Clorox wipes, toilet paper, and
I
now
can
he
get
can't.
those ones.
Now he can't sell it, and so
Oh well.
anyway.
Kevin, thanks for
So
joining us. Hang on, Ryan's got another question for you. Is Amazon only shipping essentials right now?
no, they are shipping non-essentials as of today. They've actually opened up today more items that are non-essential that you can send in to the warehouse. But I will say from my own personal shopping experience and just looking at the items that I'm selling,
Yep.
the estimated delivery for an FBA item is about 2 to 3 weeks right now.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, like I was gonna order some supplements yesterday on Amazon, and I did. I ordered them FBA, but then it sent me an email and said estimated delivery like May the 4th. And I was like, no.
Wow. Online shopping here in Canada, there's a grocery chain called Metro, and it was 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Delivered. So
Wow.
I forget that. We'll just go over to the grocery store.
Right. Yeah. Well, and so now on Amazon, it's FBM is where you ship direct to customer. That's
Right.
actually what is winning the buy box right now on Amazon. A lot of products, FBM is winning the buy box, and customers are just ordering it direct from the seller. So, and that's what I did with my vitamins. I canceled the order, reordered as merchant fulfilled, and then they just shipped yesterday. So I should get them by Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
for you. Good for you. This you did have that question about UPS or FedEx.
Yeah.
So which company is Amazon using for shipping?
They are using exclusively now UPS.
Really? Okay.
As far as if you're talking about when you send into the warehouse, now if Amazon is shipping you the package, I believe their preferred carrier is still UPS, but they may also use other carriers. And what they did last year is they were giving grants to, they may have been grants, it may have been loans, but they were giving like these sums of money to their employees to leave working at Amazon and start their own like delivery service, delivering packages. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
yeah. In the Toronto area, a lot of delivery guys are renting their own vans.
Yeah.
Wow. Vans
Wow.
are just being driven around. I asked the guy one day, he's like, "Oh yeah, we just have to we don't have enough vans in our fleet. We have to rent additional ones."
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so interesting. So interesting. So okay, that's that. Travis, yeah, I think Ryan's going to IPO his business pretty soon, so I'm sure he'll keep you up to date on that. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Where's Kevin? Here we are, somewhere hiding around.
Amazon dumped FedEx.
Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot. They did that last year. You cannot ship anything FBA to the warehouse through FedEx, unfortunately. So,
wow. Crazy times. Costco not taking returns like toilet paper that people hoarded. Good to hear. All good. Thanks for posting that.
Oh my!
It could have been ice or toner cartridges or what does the rest of the community sell? It had to be toilet paper.
Right.
But this happened years ago. There's a clip out there.
Really?
Online, yeah. Johnny Carson was joking about it. I guess it was back in the 70s, and the exact same thing happened. And
people
he
were
mentioned
stocking
something about toilet paper, about there being a shortage. And the next day, his 10 million viewers went out and hoarded all the toilet paper. And a few days later, he's just joking about it. The reporters out there, and exactly, it was just history repeating itself.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah.
Oh man. So tell us some of your mistakes that you made in the early times of you growing as an online with your online business, and what would you like some of your mistakes and how would you avoid them now?
So one of the mistakes that I definitely made early on was not looking at investing into certain software, which is really helpful because it lets you know like if an item is a good buy or not. And also it lets you know if like you're being profitable.
Right.
And so those are, your expenses. And at first when I started, I was like, well, I don't need those. I don't want to spend the money on that. But I ended up not investing in the software and it's like $18 a month. So it's really inexpensive, but it helps like if a product is a good buy or not. It gives you the whole historical, it gives you like a chart,
Yeah.
And I actually bought some things that were totally bad buys. Like they don't sell, but maybe a few times a year.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that was one of the mistakes that I made. But that's honestly, you're going to make mistakes in this business, with any business, I think. So you just have to learn, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And like another thing that I did that I didn't realize at the beginning is like, if you're going for the low hanging fruit in your products, like say you're sourcing a lot of products on clearance, then you have to realize like a lot of other people are doing that. So by the time your item gets to the warehouse, like the supply and demand, so like the supplies went way up and the price is going to go way down. So like it ended up being something that I bought. I did eventually sell it for profit, but it took a little bit longer. Like it took 3 to 4 months because people all over America were doing exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Q's got your next question. Do you see yourself doing this for a while, longer than 5 years?
That's a great question. Yeah, I definitely see myself having an Amazon account and selling on Amazon for the long term because Amazon is a powerhouse of a platform. A lot of people, they go straight to Amazon when they're looking to buy a product. So I would like to probably expand to another platform, perhaps like have my own Shopify store. Or like I said, maybe adventure into another type of business that's not reselling. So I definitely, yeah, to answer your question, I definitely see myself. I mean, my name's Eat Sleep Amazon. So I really love it. And I see Amazon growing. If you look at the data, something like 58% of sales on Amazon are by third-party sellers, and it just increases year over year. So I really do feel like Amazon is a great investment of, if you're going to get started in a business and you want to continue to expand.
Yeah. Platform's so huge.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sherry, what kind of vitamins do you sell on Amazon?
I mean, I don't get too specific on what I sell. When I was talking earlier, I was referencing vitamins I was trying to buy for myself. So that is actually a great category, vitamins and supplements, but they do expire. So just like anything grocery, it expires. You have to really watch the dates because Amazon has strict rules about, it has to be so many days before it expires when you send it in. And of course, you don't want a customer to get something that's expired. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you got to be really careful of the products that you are choosing, right?
Yeah, that going back to mistakes, like that was a huge mistake that I made. Like one of the first things I did was I bought a grocery product that was on clearance and it sold very well for a very good amount of profit. I'm talking like probably 400% return on investment. And it was, and I went to like 10 different stores and I just loaded my car up. Like I was so excited. And then I got home and you have to take the clearance stickers off and all of that. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my, like these are expired. So then I couldn't sell them on Amazon. So yeah, thankfully it was grocery though. And I mean, I have friends that don't mind eating, expired food. So
you're lucky. You're lucky.
I mean, it was only just like, a few days expired. So.
There you go. You could do a video of your top 10 on
right?
selling tips. And that's one of your tips. And that's huge. Like that's huge IP for other people, right? Check the expiry dates.
Yeah, for real. That's true. Yeah. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, so what makes you unique? Like, how are you able to make your sales, and what makes you unique on Amazon that you're able to make the sales as opposed to something? Is it quality, service, or price? How do you differentiate yourself?
So I would say that, as far as my product differentiation, I don't know that there is, because when the customer is buying it, they don't know that they're buying it from me specifically. But what makes my business different is I have a passion for what I'm selling. I use my gut a lot. Like if I'm looking at the software that tells me if it's a good buy or not, I spend a lot of time with that, and a lot of time I use my gut. And that's really helped me. Yeah. And I make sure I prep my products very well. I'm a stickler for, I have to try not to be a perfectionist, because that can be too time consuming. And just in general, like with the Eat Sleep Amazon brand, I am really big on not selling people things they don't need. So if there's a software that you want to use, I'm not going to just get an affiliate link and say, here, use this software. Like if I genuinely don't believe in it, if I don't like it, if I don't feel like you need it, I'm not going to push it. And that was a big part of my Facebook group. Like I want it to be a collaborative community. I want people to feel like we're not trying to sell them things. We're there to help them. And yeah, I'm very unique in the sense that I really love this business and I put my heart and soul into it. And that makes me stand out because that comes across. Like you can tell when someone's passionate about something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm assuming you must spend a lot of time doing the research on your different SKUs before you even get it out there, correct?
Sometimes, I mean, if like I love retail arbitrage, and so I was actually just chatting with a friend of mine, like they love retail arbitrage too, and right now everybody's locked in the house, so we're like, okay, when we can get out, we're gonna get back out there and do some RA just for fun. So sometimes you just want to get out there and like you don't have a game plan, but once I start finding items that are like replenishable, and then I come home and I do the research. So like items I'm selling now, I do a lot of research, and then I'll make a plan before I go out and get those. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So what mindsets and habits do you do, probably almost, I guess, maybe on a daily basis, that makes you successful, like gives you the drive to stay focused on Amazon? What do you do?
I am really big on healthy habits. So, and especially with, my health challenges, that's very important for me. So, I drink a lot of water. I watch, like, I'm very, like strict with my diet. I don't eat a lot of sugar or gluten or dairy. And that has helped me, cognitively in my business and also just energy wise. I do a lot of prayer, a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation. I am a self-development junkie. I love, people like Gabby Bernstein, and there's a life coach, Christine Hassler. I love them because it's like I said earlier, like things that you learn in your personal life to help you, they overflow into your business. And like last year, I can honestly say I had no work-life balance. I did not have a healthy lifestyle as far as sleep and proper diet and doing things outside of working. And it really took a toll. So I'm learning now to be more balanced. Balance for me is very important. So, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. What have you learned from your failures when you start out your business? What are some of the top 3 things that you learned from online selling? What did you take away? The biggest 3 biggest takeaways?
I would say that, so like you have to, when you're looking to buy a product to resell, you have to look at not only is it profitable, but you have to say, is it going to actually sell? Because like if it's profitable, that's great. But if it's not going to sell and no one's going to buy it, then you're just going to be sitting on that money.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I had to learn. Another thing I had to learn was like, don't always try to look at what you would buy. Try to look at things like, okay, like this is what the research shows. Like I'm very data driven. And so one of the softwares I use that's only $18 a month, like it tells you the whole historical data, like the sales rank and how the prices change and all that. So it's like, you have to make those kind of decisions, not saying like, oh, I like this, so I would buy it. Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then also looking at, okay, like hey, this is selling well. So what other products are similar to this and how are they selling? And that is a great research tool to kind of grow what you're already selling. Yeah.
Good, 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 good. So your YouTube channel, why did you create it?
Yes, my YouTube channel. I created my channel because my friend that I mentioned earlier has a very large channel, and he's a great mentor. And he said, "You need to start a channel. You need to share your journey." And I'm like scared because I'm not used to putting my face on the camera. I'm not used to, being out in the public like this. But
Yeah.
it's really helped me to connect with a lot of people. So I started it initially to help people learn, which is definitely my intention, but then just to see how you can network and connect with so many other people. And you can help people. Like people comment on your videos and say, they ask you a question or they say, hey, this really helped me, or hey, I didn't know this. Like, then you realize like what's up here, like you may know it, but other people may not know it. So yeah.
So
So
true.
that's
So
why
true. Yeah.
and that's why I keep going because, like I said, I learn mostly from YouTube. And so I know that if I learn from YouTube, other people are learning. And if I make the content, then they can, maybe learn from me. So,
Definitely. How many
yeah.
videos are you doing now?
What's that?
How many videos are you doing per week?
So I'm still on a healing journey. I'm not where I want to be. So my content has kind of been on pause. Last year, I was pretty good about content. It's very challenging to juggle running your Amazon business and then the other aspects, and then also do YouTube. But I was doing like one live show a week where we were interviewing Amazon sellers. I want to get back to making more content on a consistent basis. I would love to do at least one video every 2 weeks. I'm I guess I'm less focused now on the videos have to be perfect or they have to be like so structured versus like just put the content out there and then let's see if it helps. So I just put out a video this week where I literally just recorded it on my phone and edited it on my phone and then put it up there.
So where do you get the ideas for your content? Like, what do you think? I guess like choosing out your product. Oh, I would do that, but data shows that maybe this is not the greatest content or the type of video to post. But how do you get your creativity? Like, where does it come from?
With YouTube, I'm less into looking at like the data of it. I'm more so like if people message me on Instagram or they ask questions in my Facebook group, or I just see in general in other groups that people have these kinds of questions, then I'm like, okay, that, there could be a video on that, like right now, a lot of Amazon sellers are not doing FBA, they're merchant fulfilling. And maybe they've never done it before, or they've only done it in small amounts. So I created this ebook, this guide. It's pay what you want, pay what you can. And then I just made a video with some follow-up questions because people wrote to me and said, hey, well, what about this? What about that? So a lot of my content, it just comes from either something that I'm learning or just learned, like reflecting over what I learned last year, or just also questions that I get from people.
Got it. So somebody starting out on YouTube, what bit of advice would you give them?
I would definitely say watch the kind of content that you want to create and just try to network with people in your genre. In the reselling community and the Amazon community, it's so welcoming, and it's a great community. We're very supportive of each other, and that's really what you need to motivate you and encourage you. And I would say, like, just don't be afraid. I watch a lot of Gary Vee. He's doing tea with Gary Vee in the morning.
Yeah.
And
he's doing wine tonight. He's doing a wine thing tonight.
So he has these people call in and he video chats with them. And he was telling, somebody, like, don't be so conscious about it has to be perfect. Your content has to be perfect. Your videos have to be perfect. Your hair or your makeup, or, with guys, you're clean shaven, whatever. Just be yourself, your genuine self, because that comes across. And don't be so self-conscious. Like, honestly, I think we're all our own worst critics. And so I would say, like, don't let the fear of, what people are going to say and all that. Like, just make your content, have good intentions with it. And I think that you'll find that it's really going to not just be something that is rewarding for you, but it's really going to be helpful to a lot of people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Be yourself always. So guys, we're going to do, we'll start wrapping this up. I said to Tiffany backstage that we're going to do this for an hour. It's just over an hour. So yes, almost going to, hold to it. So if you guys have any other questions for her, let us know. It'd be great for you guys. Oscar, great. Glad that you could join us. Awesome. Excellent. So, okay, getting back to your business. What somebody starting out right now, getting into the online sales business, what bit of advice would you give them? What 3 bits of advice would you give them?
I would say if you're going to start with Amazon, you want to make sure that you are aware of terms of service, because that's very strict and you don't want to break it, because a lot of people start on Amazon. Like, there's other platforms like eBay where you can just jump in and sell anything. Amazon's not like that. So I would say definitely get in some Facebook groups. I have a Facebook group. You're more than welcome to join it. Follow some Amazon sellers and ask questions and let those people kind of guide and help you. I would also say that, right now is a great time to start Amazon. And they do have a professional and a personal plan. But if you do the professional plan and you end up not selling anything, you can request. The professional plan is like $40 a month, and the other one is free. So if you do the professional, you can request that money back. Say you open an account just to try it out, and just to see what it's like, or just to see what the interface looks like, whatever, get your feet wet. Like, if you don't make any sales that first month, you can request the $40 back. So yeah, and I would definitely say that you want to start out as a business. Like, don't have the mindset. Like, mindset is a huge thing. There's a lot of talk about it, especially right now with what's going on. You want to have the mindset of an entrepreneur, which is that no one is going to hold your hand every step of the way. And tell you exactly how to do things or what to do. Like, ask questions and connect with positive people that will help you. Yeah. But the entrepreneur mindset is that you have to think for yourself sometimes. So try to figure things out. Like, don't be afraid to ask your questions, but also realize, like, there are certain things that you're going to have to take the initiative on, that's really huge, being an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Definitely. So Oscar, you're killing it right now. Eh? What product are you selling? Post there. And at this point, be aware what business model you want to do. It was good.
Yeah, that's a great point too, Oscar. Because there's a lot of business models. Like, there's private label, there's retail arbitrage, there's online arbitrage, there's white label, there's like Amazon merch, where you just design the shirts online. Now, right now, you can't do merch. They've shut it down. Yeah, but even if you just want to learn right now, like, you want to watch some videos, ask some questions, join some groups, and just kind of start, like, learning. Like, what I did before I actually bought anything and sent anything in is I watched, like, I don't know, like 16 hours a day of content for like 3 weeks. Like, and I binged on content. I'm a binge learner.
Smart move.
Thank you. So, and I would say, even if you can't, or you don't want to start selling stuff right now, like, take this opportunity to learn about it, yeah, that's a great point, Oscar. Definitely.
Yeah. No, that's a really smart move of yours. Definitely. Like, a lot of people usually just jump in because they think it's pretty easy. And when there's just so much, it's like any business, right? It takes a lot of time. But for you to have done that, like, that's really, really smart. So
thank you.
Wow. So what advice, like anything else, would you like to say, to everybody in the community about your YouTube channel or about your business, or anybody that was on stream tonight? Is there anything that you'd like to say?
Definitely just thank you, Rick, for having me. Thank you guys in the chat for your
accepting the invite.
Yeah, thank you, everybody in the chat. And You know, I have a Facebook group, which I think we're going to drop the link for, and anybody that wants to join it, you know, there's no pressure. If you never sell on Amazon, it's still there for you, you know, to ask your questions or to connect with other people. I have an Instagram at Eat Sleep Amazon. I try to, you know, post helpful content and motivational content too, because motivation is a huge thing. I would say whether you do Amazon or some other business, you need to have a good mindset. So surround yourself with an abundance mindset and with people with an abundance thinking. And that doesn't just mean like a lot of people think that abundance mindset means there's enough for everybody, which that's part of it. But the other part is that you realize that there's different ways of thinking about things and different perspectives. And you've got to be open to learning and changing your mind. So I would definitely say that will help you, not just with now, like the here and now, but in the long term, like that's going to help you. Yeah. So
definitely. Excellent, Tiffany. Thank you so much. I think you were very helpful for a lot of people tonight. Guys, a big round, and ladies, big round of applause for you guys showing up tonight as well, and for Tiffany. I mean, so you drink a lot of water. I think Friday, every day at 5 o'clock, she's going to be hosting, Drink Water with Tiffany on her YouTube channel, on her new stream. You can talk with her. You can call in and ask her questions and talk to her about everything online shopping and setting up a business. So there you go, shopping and selling.
There we go. There we go. Thank you so much.
Water.
Yeah. That's a good one.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's been great. Thank you very much, Tiffany, once again for being on the show tonight. And everybody, stay safe. And we'll see you guys next week. Okay, everybody, take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.